Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Porsche coming to you live, recruiting from the Inside Out Inc. Today I have a very special guest. We like to call him Sheila. I'm going to let him fully introduce himself, and then we're going to jump right in and discuss a few very important topics. So go ahead and take the floor.
My name is Joka Heshima Jinsai. I'm Executive Director of Men of 13, Abolish Legal Slavery in America movement. We established this movement because the vast majority of people in this society first of all, they don't realize slavery remains legal to this day. Was never abolished.
Absolutely.
It was only amended and modified to target a specific segment of our population, specifically New African people, poor people, or people of color, to ensure not merely social containment, but because this is a capitalist society, another mode of economic exploitation. It was a way to dispose of surplus labor and those who had the potential for revolution. Um, the primary rationale for Amendment 13 is simple. We have thousands of dynamic progressive groups and activists engaged in the system in anti-prison industrial slave complex work, but they're doing it in a disparate manner. You're dealing with a beast that's so big, so monolithic, so huge. Its tendrils extend to so many areas of people activity.
Correct.
That it's almost like gnats worrying an elephant. They can easily brush those attacks aside. But if we were to unite those progressive groups into a single motive force, strike at a single point of social despair, we could have a disproportionate impact on this beast. We could actually hurt it. That was the initial rationale for Amendment 13. And as I took this train of thought to its logical conclusion. I came to realize that criminalization has an origin. It's an ideology for prisoners. Prisoners aren't born. Criminals aren't coming out their parents' homes criminals.
Correct.
They're made. And oftentimes, the way the system is structured, they attempt to lay responsibility solely at the door of the individual, when that's simply just not the case. I mean, it's a ludicrous notion. The origin of all crime is the disproportionate distribution of wealth, privilege, and opportunity in a society. When you have a large number of have-nots in a society that says you nothing unless you a have, of course, people are going to engage in the underground economy. Everything in the underground economy is illegal.
Correct.
So if we view that from a rational perspective, and we say to ourselves, they've structured this society in such a way that we're criminalized, and they've built a system to exploit that criminalization. How do we not only stop that illegal slave trade, but put an end to it?
Absolutely.
That led me to the inescapable conclusion that we have to establish our own infrastructure. We have to have a means by which we can feed ourselves, house ourselves, defend ourselves, become politically empowered, socially empowered, culturally empowered, economically empowered. That is not attached to this system, because this system is intentionally structured to impoverish a certain segment of the population, to ensure a certain segment of the population is perpetually criminalized.
So what you mean is like a separate community.
Exactly.
That's self-sufficient.
Exactly.
Which has been done by other races.
Of course. I mean, one of the things that when I was again, we were doing, because this is just my work. This is the culmination of work from brothers, hundreds of brothers who are like mine, my comrades. And I'm just standing on the shoulders of giants.
Okay.
One of the initiatives in the Thomas Infrastructure Mission is called the Closed Circuit Economic Initiative. It's an economic initiative that literally circulates the wealth of a community within that community and magnifies it by doing so. When I initially did the research for this community development initiative, I found out that in the Jewish community, because they already practice circular economics, $1 circulates in the Jewish community for almost 71 days. $1 will circulate in the Armenian community for 31 days. $1 will circulate in the Korean community for 17 days. $1 will circulate in the Mexican community for 7 days. $1 circulates in the Black community for 71 seconds.
I was about to say it's nowhere near the day fracture. So
71
wow.
seconds. In 71 seconds, our wealth is in the hands of another community. I ask myself, if we possess $8.9 billion of buying power annually, yet we're giving every bit of it to another community. That was irrational.
Right.
Especially in lieu of the gross disproportionate poverty that our communities are suffering through. The infinite. We literally live in another nation within a nation. And I'm not just saying it, I mean statistically.
Right.
We live in a nation within a nation. If you hold the New African community's infant mortality rate up to the national infant mortality rate, ours is 17 times higher. We are likely to be incarcerated for the same crimes 10 times more likely than our white counterparts.
I
I said
actually
that to say
read
this.
on that today, and I think it's a little bit more high. It's a little bit higher than that. I think it was like 13 times or 14 times, and the Hispanics were around 10 times than our
I
white
think you're right.
counterparts. Yeah.
And I think you're accurate. Thank you, sister, for providing that statistic. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So I thought to myself, how do we stop this? There is never, ever in the history of a market-based system has there ever been a supply side solution to that problem. In this case, criminalization. There is a poverty to school to prison pipeline in our communities. The manner in which the vast majority of organizations have been attempting to attack this is they've been attacking the symptom as opposed to the origin of the symptom. The origin of the symptom is economic desperation. It's underdevelopment. It's undereducation. It's lack of security.
Correct.
That's the origin. That's the origin of the contradictions that our community faces. So we can't tell our brothers and sisters that's engaged in survival activities, hey man, stop doing that. If you ain't providing them no alternative for them to feed themselves, house themselves, clothe themselves, they gonna look at you like you're crazy. They're gonna say no and keep on doing what they're doing.
They have no choice. They have no choice. So
exactly, they don't have a choice in the matter because they got to survive.
Correct.
We live in a society where, in order to survive, you got to have money. So
Period.
What we did, me and brothers of like mine, we developed a package of community development initiatives that will, together in concert, create a single autonomous infrastructure, a way in which we can break the chains of criminalization in our communities and actually shut the poverty, the school, the prison pipeline down at its source. Its source is our communities. Our communities are nothing but hunting grounds for law enforcement.
Absolutely.
That's what they've become. You have legislation like stop and frisk legislation, which is so disproportionately utilized in our communities and so underutilized in white communities that, I mean, it's laughable.
Right.
So what we did is we developed this body of initiatives, and I'm gonna share them with you.
Okay.
The primary initiatives of the 13th Autonomous Infrastructure Mission are the Sustainable Agricultural Commonwealth, the SAC. First thing that we have to do is be able to feed ourselves. If they shut every grocery store in our communities or barred us from access to those grocery stores, the vast majority of people in our community are starved.
Correct.
We don't have any independent sources of food.
And we are not farming or growing our own.
That part. That's the primary focus of the SAC. The primary focus of the SAC is not simply to feed ourselves, but to develop at the community level a surplus of food and a basis for establishing our own farms and agricultural institutions.
Absolutely. I'm
it's the first step.
for that. 100% for that.
The other is, of course, as I mentioned earlier, the closed circuit economic initiative. It's where we pool our funds for a specific period of time. The way I currently have it written, it's in 60-day intervals. We request from the community to contribute what you can. I don't care if it's a quarter. Over the course, every 2 weeks, over the course of a 2-month period. Let's say we have 10,000 people in that community. If we've in a single funding cycle came up with $40,000, we find out which business in our community that we patron, what goods and services in our community we spend most of our money on, and that's the type of business we buy.
Absolutely.
Which stores you gonna go to? You gonna go to the Arab stores? You gonna go to the store you want?
Right.
We hire people in our community, and only people in our community who are unemployed. So at the same time we have a community-owned economic venture, we are also reducing the unemployment rate in our communities. If these brothers and sisters have a viable wage job, they're not going to be standing on the corner selling crack.
Correct.
They not going to be chasing their bread in the street because they have a viable means to do so where they don't have to take that risk. We provide them with an alternative to that lifestyle. And in so doing, we reduce criminalization, and we increase our ability to circulate our money in our communities. In the next cycle, we purchase a sympathetic business. Let's say our first business was a grocery store. Our next business would be a bakery. And all the bread that our grocery store buys that we sell in our stores would be bought from our bakery. And we keep that economic cycle going until we have created an entire economic circuit.
Okay.
Where we have multiple businesses in our community, we have reduced the unemployment rate to 0, and we keeping our money in our own pockets because we're spending it with ourselves. Dividend checks will flow for everybody who contributed, everybody who was participating. That means the whole community. This is how we create an alternative to the current economic system that's not working for us. The one that has us continually out there engaged in criminal activities as a means to survive. The next initiative is the Youth Community Action Program. And this initiative is twofold. It's one where we educate our youth in their true history. We provide them with an alternative to irrational violence by training them in martial arts and the martial sciences. So we're teaching them discipline. At the same time, we're teaching them self-defense.
Absolutely.
The other half of it is an economic program. You ain't got to go out there and hit nobody in the head or sell no dope, because we're going to, again, use the same model, the collective economic model, the community economic model. And we'll take a 6-month funding cycle, and they'll buy their own business. Let's say it's a rap studio, and they own that studio. Right. These youth own that studio. Members of the SAC own, YCAP own that studio, and they can produce their music, sell their music from that studio, and make money. Right. And they ain't got to be on no street corner to do it. They can be doing something that they love and getting paid doing it. The next initiative is the New African Math and Science Center initiative. Math and science, if we don't have a strong and firm foundation in math and science, our communities are going to fail.
Absolutely.
We live in a technologically advanced society, with whether it's the internet, robotics, or drones. We have to have the capability to be competitive in those fields, not merely just to be competitive, but to ensure that we don't have to go outside our community. We need our cell phones fixed. If we need the air conditioning fixed,
correct,
if we need a car fixed, we can have our local New African Math and Science Center initiative do that fixing in our communities. And this particular initiative is not just for children. We have a lot of our adults who are mathematically illiterate.
Absolutely.
They really can't do complex math.
It's not even just math. I mean, I feel like, there's a lot of people who weren't afforded the best educations based on their environment.
Exactly. In this particular initiative, we leverage those young brothers and sisters who are currently seeking higher education to come back and give back to their communities as in-community instructors. We use whatever spaces that we can in our communities as learning centers. And we have specific curriculum that's covering everything from robotics to aeronautics to computer science to basic math. And we begin to raise the science and math literacy of our communities to a level where we are not merely on par with other communities, but we have a functional math and science infrastructure in our communities where we use what we learn to improve our daily lives. The other, my comrade Abdul about Shakur developed this called the Emergency Response Network.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember what happened in Hurricane Katrina, you know why our communities need to be ready for a natural disaster. And the vast majority of our communities are not ready for a natural disaster. I mean, you can see the current wildfires that's going on in California right now to see how underprepared we are.
Absolutely. I think that just recently, I'm not sure if you've been, paying attention to like the power outages and the thing that PG&E was going on. That to me, it literally just looks like a way for, the government here to to watch the ignorance. It said we weren't gonna have lights, and you should have just seen everybody flock and run to the stores and spend their money and do all these things that were, it was almost like, and nobody's lights went off. So now you didn't want to spend this money. They watched you spend the money that they set you up to spend, and now you at home with a whole bunch of flashlights, candles, water, and all this stuff because they said your lights were going to go out for 2 days. So they kind of, it was almost like a setup, and I'm, kind of sitting back and watching this stuff occur. But I don't think it resonate the same way with everyone else. I feel like it was just a way for them to watch what we would do in the situation, like a natural disaster. And
exactly.
It's gonna be
and it's that reactive and reactionary nature of our people that the emergency response network seeks to diminish. It actually seeks to organize communities where we're not reacting. We prepare. You are preparing before a natural disaster occurs. And you're doing so in such a fashion where it's tailored for your specific geographic area and the social conditions in your area. You have some areas that are prone to floods. You have other areas that are prone to wildfires. You have other areas that may be prone to earthquakes. And in each one of those areas, we have to have an emergency response plan that the community, both individually and collectively, has been thoroughly trained on. And we can instantly ensure that this government demonstrated in Hurricane Katrina, without a doubt, they don't give a damn about our people. They don't give a damn about poor people or people of color, especially the African people. If we don't care about ourselves,
that's the thing.
If we don't begin to organize for ourselves, we could find ourselves in a situation where we seeing black bodies and poor bodies float down the street once again.
That's the major issue there, is finding a way to make, especially our youth, our young men out here, we are killing each other. We are doing the work. They don't even have to. Last night alone out here, we massacred a party. They went to a party. 4 people murdered, over 10 people shot. You know what I mean? At a party. Yes. And that's just something that I've been sitting and thinking on, is how to grab our youth, our young men, and, bring them back. And I know it's going to take people of like mind, people that came from where they came from, that understand. It's not like you said, it's not something that you can just say, you got to stop doing this, because it's survival and it's what they know. It's what they have grown up doing,
And it's the reason, it's for that reason. We live that lifestyle.
Right.
It was a time when, I was that ignorant dude out there on the street corner.
Right.
With a pistol in my small on my back. I was that guy. And I know the path that led me from that individual to the man I am today. It's for that reason that we developed initiatives like Community Safe Zones Initiative, Secure Communities Mandate, and the Youth Community Action Program. Listen, these young brothers have to have an alternative to that lifestyle, and one where it don't seem like you attacking their family.
Right.
that the street tribes they belong to, that's their family.
Right.
They attack that. What we want to do is we want to reduce the negatives and accentuate the positives. If we could transform these gangs into organizations in the service of their community, that's what we should do, as opposed to trying to criminalize or attack them the way the state does, because it doesn't work. It's not effective. The best proof of that is what you experienced just last night.
Right.
That's literally the best proof that that approach don't work. But if we look
Absolutely.
historically, if you look at what the Panthers were able to pull off, what New African guerrillas were able to pull off back in the 60s and 70s, organizing these street tribes into organizations in the service of their communities, they were effective. Fred Hampton was able to transform some 7 or 8 street tribes in the city of Chicago to go from killing each other to actually organizing with one another. So we know it can be done.
Right.
We merely have to have the proper approach and the resources to carry it out.
Absolutely.
And again, it goes back to what's the origin of crime? What's the ideology of criminalization? What would compel them to go out there and actively assist in their own oppression, to actively aid and assist their enemy in killing? What would make you do that? What would compel you to do that? The subculture mindset. It's not an easy problem. It's not an easy problem. It's complex.
Very.
But the solution is something that is comprehensive. We do have a blueprint for that solution. But what we need more than anything else is boots on the ground.
Okay.
Every one of these initiatives that we develop are dependent on a single factor: people participating, brothers and sisters who actively want to change their communities for the better. They got to get up and do something. Talking about it is easy, but talking about it is not going to affect change. We have to do something.
Absolutely.
Well, what we've what we're putting forward is a potential blueprint that can be modified based on your community to eventually work. But we actually need the activists to carry it out. We need brothers and sisters who are committed to actually seeing that change. And this is the primary motive force of the Men of 13th. And its aim in particular is to galvanize our communities to do something.
So what do
We
you
want to
think
make it
about
easy for
this? I haven't in a while. I used to go live all the
right.
time, and that's kind of how, like, my videos got a little popular because, we go live, people are able to ask questions, we answer, everything is kind of a live feed kind of thing. And I
Right.
haven't in a while, but because I'm supportive of the topic, and I've read your work. I think your work as well. Like I actually told you, I actually shared your work with some people that are doing some very powerful legislative work out here,
Yes.
and I think your ideas definitely can come into play when it comes down to the movement that we trying to push and getting some new laws implemented. And I think
Right.
that the way that you share your knowledge and share your plans, that I think we will be able to get the backing and support that you need. And any questions that come about, I feel like they're not for me to answer. I will answer them if I can, but I feel like
Right.
you would be the one to answer these questions.
Right. Right. Right.
So what do you think about
I
doing
would.
like live feeds, and we can do different topics once a week, every 2 weeks, whatever you comfortable with, and you can start building your momentum.
I think that would be fantastic. I'm more than willing to do it. And you just set it up so we can make it happen.
Okay, so what I'm thinking is, what's today, Saturday? I'm thinking like let's just shoot for, like, first one next week, and we'll start because we going like we're talking about the youth portion of it now, and how we want to start basically implementing things to where we can refocus our youth or start building the resources and things like that to refocus our youth. Let's start with that and the plans you have for that, and kind of go from there. See what kind of field we get. I'm also gonna drop this before that happens so everybody know that the next, what's coming next.
That part.
And then everybody be ready and willing to watch whoever found some interest in this video.
That would be fantastic. And anyone listening, if you want to get involved, contact Sister Portia, and we're gonna get you involved. We're gonna make sure that you have all the resources that you need to actually carry these initiatives to fruition right in your community, and you can do it. We have to do it.
I feel like
because
it's
if
very
we don't,
doable.
the alternative is a continuation of what we have today: mass incarceration, the mass enslavement of our people, and we simply can't allow that to continue.
And I know personally too many people that we every day are out here saying that our goal, our mission statements for our businesses, all of us have the same sentence in there. Our goal is to end mass incarceration. So
That part.
why not try something that makes 100% sense? It's a solution that we have not tried yet.
That part.
Listen.
Yes.
See what you feel about it, and if you agree, then why not?
I agree.
So, in closing, do you want to, shoot any other information out there?
I'd like to thank you all for your time. I appreciate this opportunity to talk with you, and I hope that each and every one of you will take the words that I've said today to heart and actually act to change your communities for the better. In so doing, we can transform this nation and eventually this world. You brothers and sisters be.
See, I just like how you talk. I feel like I'm so, you gonna be so, we all finna be on Shima's hype. All right, y'all. We're going to see y'all on live next week. Be prepared with questions. Any questions that you guys have, make sure y'all write them down now, because when we come, it's going to be the perfect time to ask. And then we're going to get out there and we're going to end mass incarceration. All right, y'all.